What's up, Tallywhackers? Well, you guys know I have a kayak, and I'm looking to take it to some places to where it's kind of a far walk or drag from the vehicle to the actual water body. So I need to make a cart. I haven't spent any money on this thing yet. This stuff's an old trampoline that was pulled out of the dumpster. Yep, dumpster diving. Drew me out kind of a plan of what I'm wanting to do. For the most part, pretty simple. Just kind of go by this a little bit. Measure out this first, make sure I have enough material. Should be pretty easy to weld that stuff up, and it's pretty light stuff. And found some wheels. Came off some type of medical equipment. Pulled that out of a dumpster as well. Should be pretty good. These are fairly light. Hard plastic. I don't need nothing too fancy. This is obviously, well, not obviously, but it's too narrow. I'm looking to make this thing about 28 inches wide. The bottom of my kayak is really flat, so this should be a pretty easy build. But we're gonna see how it goes. First off, I'm gonna measure off these pipes and make sure I have enough material to build the frame. So it looks like I need 3 24-inch pieces. This one, and this one, as well as these two that are 24 inches. I want them to be 24 inches. They can be slightly shorter if they have to be. So that would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces 24 inches long. I'm just trying to make it as simple as possible. It doesn't have to look good. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 pieces. If I use this splice, which is not going to be an issue, I can weld that instead of the screw. Take that screw out, so I can get from here 24 inches and then another piece 24 inches. Should be good. Let's start cutting out my pieces. I'm going to start off by cutting off these ends. Just get that out of the way and cut all my 24s and kind of see what I have left, which looks like I'm going to have barely enough, which is perfect because I don't want to use any other material. I want to use the same material throughout the whole process. A couple reasons: makes it easier, it'll look better, and I won't have to keep adjusting my welder. So we'll cut all the ends off. We're going to use a hacksaw. Be fine. I'm hole cutting this with a hole saw so that it will fit up against the pipe better. I'll show you what I mean when I'm done here. Yikes. I'm not real sure if this is made for metal or not, but I tell you what, it's staying really sharp. I've already cut 2 holes. I don't even know where the heck I got that thing from. And I resorted to the Sawzall. Hacksaw was just taking too long. It's gonna fit so much better. Well, by the time I shave these down a little bit better, it'll fit right down in there. Make it a lot easier to get a weld down there instead of trying to weld a gap. So we'll get this stuff out of here. I think I'll just take the grinder to it, knock off these edges a little bit, get that thing to fit all the way down in there. I have a good surface to weld. All right, we got some of these pieces cut. I'm gonna have to weld this one together. No big deal. So I think is what I'll do is I'll get 2 of these on. I've got 3 of these cut and 2 of these made. Get these on. Get my other one welded on the other end, and just go from there. Gotta clean that out every now and then. All right, took a break, had lunch. Got this basically tacked up. It's fairly straight, which it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just a little cart to haul my stuff around, or haul my kayak around. So we'll leave that for right now. We're gonna move on to the next thing, which is we got to get this axle in here about right here somewhere ish. Get this thing in here about somewhere about right here. I'm gonna call it an axle, so I can put wheels on it, one on each end. I'll kind of see what I'm talking about the further along we go. It needs to be like this, actually. Kayak will be laying this way. I got these at 18 inches on center apart because there's two divots in the bottom of my kayak, which is flat except for these two divots. I'm going to wrap a noodle around these two and they'll fit up inside that divot and it'll just keep it in place. Keep this thing from moving around. Which I'm looking for 15 inches. Doesn't have to be 15, but it's kind of what I'm looking for. 15 inches from the bottom of the kayak to the bottom of the tire wheel. And they're 10-inch wheels, so I need this about 10 inches on center, which would be just about freaking right where I want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 4 pieces that are 11 inches. And I'm going from the center of the concave to the center of the concave on the other side, 11 inches. So basically 11 inches between there and there. That'll get me right about 9.5. Be just fine. So let's make 4 pieces, 11 inches, and ready to go on and hold this axle. It'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4 to hold that axle. Well, I got these things cut up. I figured if I just use 3, I'd probably be all right. That kayak ain't that heavy, and this is probably going to be pretty stout. So it saved me some time cutting another one, and it'll shave down a little bit of weight, not much, but a little bit. So I think this is what I'm going to do, just 3 of them. It's kind of how it's going to look after I'm welded it up. It's not tacked right now, it's just kind of laying there. So let's tack this thing up, trying to get it as symmetrical as possible, as straight as possible. Let's tack this booger up. All right, this thing's basically tacked up. It's one piece now. So we got to figure out, it's pretty dang straight for eyeballing it. It comes with experience. We got to figure out how to get these wheels on here. I kind of want to keep this axle because they ride pretty good on there. So I got to find a way to attach this axle to the end here. So let's start brainstorming and see what we can come up with. Well, this is what I came up with here. Had a hard time finding a piece of stock that was as thick as this. This is solid. I can't weld that. Well, it'd be really difficult to get something to adhere to it, to weld to it. That'd be strong, besides heating this up with a torch, but decided not to go that route. I'll save that for something else. So I made this long deal here, and I'll just go inside. Have those little 2 stubs on both sides. I'll put a washer on. put a wheel on, and then I'll just weld the clip that came off that other one on the end so the wheel can't come off. I don't think I'll ever have to do anything with this thing, so, and I think that's going to be plenty wide. Shouldn't have an issue with the width. I didn't want it to be too narrow, you know, obvious reasons, and just topple over. That's plenty wide. I think it'll be just fine. Put some, put like a swimming noodle piece here and here, so it's up on the bottom of the kayak, and just put a strap all the way around it. I'll paint this thing kind of camouflage or green or something similar, so it ain't so noticeable. I'm not gonna put this on my kayak and swim around with it. I could, but I'm not going to. I'll just hide it in the weeds, or maybe even just walk it back up to the truck, who knows. But depends on where I'm at. If it's not a sketchy place, I'll toss it in the weeds. I know where it's at. Hopefully nobody finds it. Let's get this thing all welded up. All right. Got crap in it, but it's okay. Doesn't matter a whole lot. I think I'm gonna prep this thing for paint before I put the wheels on. That way, a lot of the stuff isn't, that way the wheels ain't in my way. But we got this sucker all welded up. Welds ain't the best. Some of them are better than others, but I don't really care. I tried to get all of it so that I don't get a bunch of water intrusion. I'll have some, but at least it won't be like, I don't know, too much. I guess any of it is too much, but we'll cut down on it a little bit by welding all the seams up. At least better than not welding the seams up. So that's what I did. This thing's pretty freaking light, which is what I wanted. Let's prep this thing and get it painted. All right. Pretty much got this thing ready to rock and roll. I think is what I'll do is I'll knock off any of these high points with my grinder, and then I went and got me a new wire wheel for my angle drill, and we'll go ahead and hit these welds real well with the angle drill wire wheel. Those are the first places that the paint's going to fall off, and it's the first places that it's going to start rusting. So we'll spend more time on the welds, and then we'll take a Scotch-Brite, rough up the whole thing, and put a coat of paint on this thing. All right, next step, let's just knock this thing down a little bit. Not a whole lot. If the paint falls off this thing, I'll just put some more paint on it. So either way, paint ain't gonna stick on it forever. Doesn't have to. It's just another piece of equipment that's gonna get used up, so. But take a little bit of precaution so that paint don't fall off right away at least. Looks good. Let's blow it off and paint it. Throw down a piece of cardboard to protect my cart here. It's been a pretty nice cart. I actually found this thing in the found it in the dumpster. It's got a little guy here. Well, that ain't supposed to be plugged in. You plug that into the wall. It's got two outlets there. Kind of nice. Rolls around real good. Seems to hold a bunch of weight. So far, so good. Looks adjustable on the height if I ever wanted to make it taller, but it fits underneath my workbench pretty good and kind of tucks out of the way. Thought I'd show you guys that. I am a dumpster diver, and I don't really care. Freeze free. I think we'll paint the bottom of it first. The can's warm. It's been in the house, and it's cold outside. I'd guess above freezing, 34, 35 degrees, maybe. If that, I don't know. Yeah, I should wait till it's warmer, warm up the garage, all that. It doesn't freaking matter. It just takes longer for the paint to dry. It's gonna dry. It's just a rattle can, some Rust-Oleum camouflage. This stuff actually works pretty good. I've used it on a lot of things. And today we're gonna use it on this. Coat's real nice. Should only need one coat. Looks good for that side. We'll let her dry a little bit. Flip her over. I think I'll get these ends too. That way they don't rust out right away. We'll let this dry a little bit. Flip her over. Get the other side. We'll call her good. Alright, she looks pretty much dry enough to flip her over. Be fine. Paint the rest of it. Kind of hard to see where I left off and picked back up again because of the shadows, but we should be covered pretty good. I got the welds, and that was the most important part. Cool. We'll let her dry and then get the wheels installed and it'll be done. All right, she's been sitting for a couple days. Let's get some tape off of it. I can find the end. That's kind of dumb. Well, old school way, I guess. It's gonna have to work. Just tear it off. Taking tape off can be satisfying. It can also suck. All right, one washer per side. If it's okay, that's good enough. So I guess what the plan is to weld this booger on there. Just tack it on there. Hope it stays. Well, that's the end of her. Turned out pretty good. Paint's not going to stick on there the best. I already knew that going forward, but anything to keep it from rusting out right away. But these turned out pretty good. This one here is crooked wheel, but it'll be fine. I'm not trying to race no marathon or anything. That one there rolls pretty good, but they're on there and they ain't coming off. I'd have to cut that off to get that off. That's all that's going to hold that wheel on there. Should be good. Guess if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And in the future, you'll see this thing in use if you keep watching, I suppose. Maybe I'll even point it out. But until next time, thanks for watching. Tally Go.